What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spire, and I am joined by Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am infinitely awesome to the 10th power.
Ooh, infinitely to the
You wasn't
10th
ready for
power.
that
I
last
was not
part.
ready for that one.
You gotta to 10 times. Do all that. I know somebody was like, what is going on? How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. I am happy to be here for another episode of this wonderful show, and we're going to get into
It is your favorite podcast. If it's not, it should be.
It should be. It really should be.
I'm talking to them, not you, but if it's not yours, it should be as well.
I mean, I feel like it would be hard for me to not enjoy the podcast that I'm on. I don't want to meet the person. Now. Yeah, I'm playing favorites. Of course, I'm going to play favorites to my own product. I don't want to see the person that hates their own podcast. I don't want to meet that person.
That would be horrible. Like, I don't want to see it. I don't even want to do it. What?
But yet you're still here.
Exactly. Speaking of here, where are they?
Where are they?
Yeah, they're here with us.
They're here with us. Yes, they're here. All Things Super, where if you don't know what All Things Super is, we take a new piece of, yes, of course, welcome. But we take a piece of super-powered movies, TV shows, and trailers. We react to them, we watch them, we break them down, we review them, and then we ask the question, is it super? We got to figure that out. We got to figure it out. But we'll find out. But if you like that, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You can hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes coming out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, you can find us on your major podcast streaming services. And if you want to join in on the conversation, you can tweet at us at ATSuperPod.
Dun, 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 dun. What are we talking about today?
On this episode of All Things Super, we are going to be reviewing Amazon Prime Video's newest superhero film starring Sylvester Stallone called Samaritan.
Was it The Samaritan or just Samaritan?
Just Samaritan.
Yeah. Just Samaritan.
Just Samaritan. But it stars Sylvester
Stallone is back.
I think he produced it as well. It was from his production company.
Balboa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's do this. Let's get into the synopsis, and then we'll get into the juice of what we think about the movie. So, for those who have no idea about The Samaritan, that's on, what platform is it on?
Amazon Prime Video.
That's what I would have said, but I like to share the opportunity for others. Sly is back. The story goes there were these brothers, twin brothers that came to they didn't really say they came to the planet. They were already on it.
They were born. They were just born.
They were born with abilities. What are the abilities? Durability, self-regeneration, super strength. And that's pretty much it. They're not flying around. They're not on any shrinking or growing type of ability. They're just strong. They got regenerating properties. They look as though they can die, get old, because Sly Stallone is older on here, is more grizzled. As far as he was a hero,
so they're not immortal.
They're not immortal. So we had some internal conflict going on with these brothers, basically causing collateral damage to a lot of places when they fight. And it was a fight, and things went one way, and we're now looking at the aftermath of this. So they're gone. Everyone knows we're in a world with these ability-having individuals, and they're gone, but their impact has definitely lasted. So they had to be around for quite some time, battling. they have grown a following. There are some people that believe in the Samaritan, and a lot of other people believe in the, what was he, the
Nemesis.
Nagus Nemesis. Thank you.
Which I feel like is really on the nose for an antagonist character, because basically a nemesis is basically your opposing force to your hero. So, I mean, it couldn't give him a better name than Nemesis. Oh, you're my nemesis. It's just,
We're going to get into that in a
okay.
second. I just want to give him the overall. Now, what happened in the story before I get into the spoilers of it is we have a situation that we have the call of the hero, which Spider and I talked about many a times. And you have an antagonist, and they got to go and do something, so they got to go and do it. But in superhero movies or hero movies or just good stories, there's always a deny to the call. No one's just running out there saying, I'm going to risk everything for someone I don't know, or this, that, and then some. So we have the call to action being, looked at, wondering what's it going to take for our hero to answer the call and be a hero and stand up and be the hero. We don't really get a full flushing or development of this. Or let me take that back. We do, but we don't. At least we care, but we don't. This may be Sly's first genre, I guess, dipping its toe into the superhero arena, which is surprisingly odd because Rocky is a superhero movie. It's an underdog story, Rocky Balboa. And the Expendables, if that's not an action fest on steroids, I don't know what to tell you. So when you hear about Sly and, he's going to be a superhero, again, we're talking about Sly. So we're talking about Rambo. We're talking about Cobra. We're talking about, this is a guy that he's known to bring an action movie out. So it didn't seem like a hard decision to make to watch this movie. It's like, it's Sly Stallone. He's a superhero. He's going to kick some butt. We really didn't get that. We really kind of got Sly limping along. There's a lot of walking in this show. And he just looked like he's hurt. And listen, I'm going to stop talking and let Spider tell y'all, because this movie, I guess I got to gather myself with it. This was one. I'm trying not to spoil it before I hit the spoiler alert. But this is a movie. This is a movie that Sly is in. Sly Stallone. Sylvester Stallone is in this movie. Spider. So
basically, so getting to the rest of the plot, and this is all stuff that you can kind of see from the trailer. There's Sly Stallone, he's an older gentleman. He's living in this apartment complex. There's also a kid that lives in the apartment complex who's a huge fan of Samaritan. He's a Samaritan fanboy. The slogan that people are going by who are Samaritan fans is that Samaritan lives. They all believe that Samaritan is still alive. They just don't have any way to prove it. And this young kid is just going out of his way to try to figure out where Samaritan is, because he still feels Samaritan is alive. He stumbles upon just a bunch of different things. There's this author who's been writing about Samaritan. He tries to get in contact with him. The kid falls into some trouble with a gang in the area, and we see how Stallone's character and the kid start to interact, and it just like I said,
right, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Without giving the movie away, we see what happens when the young kid, whose name is Sam, and how he interacts with Stallone's character, whose name is Joe Smith. and just how their relationship starts to form. They really try. The movie tries to play with some conventional superhero movie tropes, and then also tries to put a little spin on them to try to keep you on your toes. Um, but in my opinion, without giving anything away, I feel like the movie is extremely predictable. Um, and yeah, I feel like if we say anything else, we're gonna get into spoiler territory. But
Okay, so let's do this. If you feel comfortable with doing it, let's do it.
I'm fine with it.
We'll count them down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I held the last one a little long.
You did.
That's okay. That is your official spoiler warning. You are now in spoiler territory. So for The Samaritan starring Sylvester Stallone, if you haven't seen it, you might want to stop watching us and go watch that in case you're curious about what we're going to say or have reference to what we're saying. You have been warned. Thank you. Go ahead, Samaritan. Let them know.
So the MacGuffin, the thing that's driving this entire movie is this hammer. So the Samaritan and Nemesis, like we said, twin brothers, they their parents get killed when they're younger because, of course, the prejudice of people. The kids are super strong, they're considered to be freaks, and so the city, Granite City, where they're from, the residents of Granite City turn on the twins and their parents. They set their house on fire, the parents get killed, the boys make it out, and of course the whole trope of, if it's twins, one's got to be good, one's got to be bad. So the Samaritan dedicates his life to saving people. The Nemesis dedicates his life to hurting those. We find out that the Nemesis only hurts those who needs hurting, what they call punching up. So it's basically this dichotomy of good versus evil. They go to blows because Nemesis resents his brother, all of the accolades that his brother gets and everything. And so Nemesis forges this hammer. And they say that he poured all of his hate into this hammer. He put his own blood infused it into the hammer, and the hammer is the only thing.
Malice.
The hammer is the only thing.
What are we in the Lord of the Rings?
I don't know. The hammer is the only thing that can hurt Nemesis. Hurt Samaritan, and ultimately the only thing that could kill Samaritan. So they reveal that, and this is all done in flashbacks. But they reveal that Nemesis, and actually this is all done before the movie really even starts. But so Nemesis hijacks a power plant, sets off some explosives, basically to draw Samaritan out. The hammer was there. Everybody's idea was that Nemesis planned to kill Samaritan. So they have a big epic fight. The power plant explodes, but Nemesis and Samaritan are nowhere to be found. The only thing that they found were their helmets and the hammer. Okay, so hammer's going to come back later in the story. Flash forward to present day, and this is like 20 years later. So Sam is a Samaritan fanboy. He's 12. He's living with his mom. His mom is having some financial problems. Mom was trying to work overnight at a hospital. And basically mom's never home. Mom is almost never home. But so Sam,
like a lot of parents in America, working hard, trying to make a way.
So Sam comes home from school one day. Sam comes home from school one day, finds an eviction notice on the door. He's like, well, shit, I got to figure out what to do. So he runs up with another friend of his. They're like, we can go make some money real quick. They go break into some old abandoned house, start stealing the copper wire out of the walls. They go to try to cash it in. Guy only wants to give him $40, which is nowhere near enough. So Sam ends up running with another gang. They go do a job. The job goes sideways because they're trying to steal lottery tickets, but the box that was marked lottery tickets actually has chips in them. So the gang leader Cyrus is upset about it. The dude who kind of recruited Sam, Reza, he lies on Sam, tells him that was all Sam's fault. Sam's like, no, I did what I was supposed to do. I was a distraction. You grabbed the boxes. So Cyrus is like, I appreciate you, your honesty. You're a little guy, but you're not letting that stop you. So here's some money. So he takes that money, gives it to his mom so the mom can pay the rent. And so Sam ultimately has to pay that money back. Well, pay
That's how
back
it goes.
what he got paid. So Cyrus basically came calling up on Sam later on in the movie to just be a lookout for him. But Cyrus is a nemesis. Just as much as Sam is a fan of Samaritan, Cyrus is a fan of Nemesis. He is of the mindset that, we anarchy, that's what he thought Nemesis was all about. Break down the system, break down the infrastructure, we're going to destroy some shit. And so Cyrus's plan is to infiltrate the police station because he has on good authority that the hammer is still in the police station. He goes, finds the hammer, he thinks that he's going to use it, act like he's Nemesis so he can revolutionize all the people of Granite City, cause an uprising, which he successfully does, and there's just chaos in the streets. And so,
what do you think about those grenades?
I don't know what the fuck those grenades were. So they have these grenades that emit some type of black
incursion juice.
Yeah, I don't know. It vaporizes people and then emits some kind of black goo. They say that they got it from like some army depot that were trying to decommission weapons, and they like picked them off from the army. So yeah, I don't know. That was ridiculous. So while this is happening, Joe Smith, who saves Sam from Reza and all of the other little gang cronies, because they go after Sam because he's like, you got me in trouble, so I'm going to kick your ass. Joe saves him. Reza tries to stab Joe. Joe grabs the knife and basically just crumbles it like, a piece of paper almost. Sam sees this. Sam immediately thinks, you're a Samaritan. You saved me. Samaritan saves people. You have super strength. You're a Samaritan. And Joe never says, I'm not Samaritan. He just says, why do you think that? Basically every time Sam says, well, what such and such about the Samaritan, Joe would answer the question, but he would just never say, oh, well, I did this. He would always say, well, Samaritan was about saving people. Samaritan thought that he could do this. Samaritan thought that he could do that. Answering for the Samaritan, but not necessarily saying that was about him. That'll come back later in the movie. Long story short, Joe ends up coming to blows with Cyrus because Cyrus kidnaps Sam, threatens his life because he's trying to draw out Joe because he feels that Joe is Samaritan as well. They come to blows into this factory or whatever, and we all find out at the end of the movie. I know this was supposed to be like this was supposed to be like the impactful line. This was supposed to be the big twist. So Cyrus is trying to use the hammer on Joe. So Sylvester Stallone tries with all of his might to deliver this line. He says, you keep talking about me like I'm the good guy, but I'm not. I'm the bad guy. So it turns out, for what we all knew throughout the movie, because it was so easily telegraphed, Joe is not Samaritan. Joe was actually Nemesis. Nemesis didn't die, and we saw in like little flashbacks Joe was kind of having like some PTSD dreams where he saw the final fight that they had at the power plant. Everything was on fire, so we finally find that Samaritan fell through a roof and was about to fall into the power plant where it was on fire. Nemesis tried to save him. Samaritan ended up falling, and that's how Samaritan died. And the only thing that he had left was his helmet. So I think that the underlying motivation was that, well, Nemesis didn't necessarily want to kill his brother, but now that his brother died, he was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be Nemesis anymore. So he throws the hammer, throws his own mask into the power plant. It explodes. He goes into hiding. And so we also find that once they're using their powers to regenerate themselves, their body overheats and they have to immediately cool themselves down, unless, or if they don't, their heart is going to stop. So that's how Samaritan died. Samaritan died in the fire. He couldn't regenerate himself. He couldn't cool himself down in order to heal himself. And so yeah, they get into it, and of course, Nemesis ends up saving the day. Sam tries to tell him that you can be good. You don't have to be Nemesis. You can be inspiration. You can save people. And so he ends up saving Sam from the burning building at the end of the movie, and then goes off about his business. So that's the plot of the movie. So you don't have to watch it the way that we did. I mean, there's other little stuff in there in between, some little like extra little anecdotes, but yeah. So that's the whole movie.
Yeah, like 90s one-liners from Sly Stallone that are just so cringy and cheesy as we watching him limp from one room to the next room. Not because he's hurt, because he's old. Yeah. And you got an old man walk in there with these telegraph shots of why are you guys even trying? It's just... And don't get me wrong, it has nothing to do with Sly's age. I think Sly can get away with a lot of stuff. I think we're looking at a situation of bad script on this one.
I agree.
When there were here's my gripes, okay? I'm just gonna come out with it right now. You have a story that's a great story. Don't get me wrong. If you set up a environment where there were heroes and they went into hiding, they're looking for them to come back. Christopher Nolan captured this very well in The Dark Knight. After Batman won, he kind of was laying low, right? He came out of retirement. They were looking for him. The Joker had gotten so out of control, we had to figure out something that was going on. This is why he had to get back in fighting shape. Actually, this was The Dark Knight Rises, not the second one, the third one, when he had to fight Bane.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he had to put his brace on, which gave him some ability to kick a brick. You remember this? It's very important to kick a brick. In that process, we get the urge that we need Batman. Like the city is coming to a cap, a point that something has to be done. So you can have that environment that we need the return of the hero. And I'm even okay with the lore of fanboying or fangirling over a superhero ability individual. Same thing we got from Ms. Marvel. She's a Captain Marvel fan, right? So those things are fine. You're good. Here's my thing. Sly Stallone, the Samaritan, or just Samaritan, was laying low in hiding. Again, fine. And then Sam comes along and says, okay, well, you're the Samaritan. And of course, he denies it. Then he's hit by a car. And this kid watches you pull yourself together and heal yourself. At that point, there's nothing more that we need to discuss. You're a Samaritan. If you're not, you better be saying something, because I watch you get hit and come back together. After this moment, there are like 3 or 4 more scenes where Sly Stallone is pretending like he's not Samaritan. I'm like, what else do we need to see? Like, the audience sees, the character sees you healing. So if you're not Samaritan, you're in the wrong movie, because this movie is about him. And the extra time that we're denying being Samaritan takes me 100% out of the movie.
Well, the thing about it is he's denying being Samaritan because he's not Samaritan. He's Nemesis. And so that's why he won't. That's it. Yeah, I agree that it's a very poor way to explain that. But after he got hit, like you said, after he got hit, Sam saw him heal. They went into his apartment. He explained the whole thing about, him having to cool down his body so his heart doesn't stop. And then he continued to not fess up to being Samaritan. That's when I realized, I was like, oh, okay, well, he's saying he's not Samaritan because he's Nemesis. Samaritan died, Nemesis lived. And the whole thing about when Cyrus found the hammer in a police lockup, and then when he got the hammer and he's like using it to hit stuff or whatever, and then like Joe is jumping in his sleep, I was like, yeah, that's totally proving that he's Nemesis. Why would Samaritan have a connection to the hammer?
Roar! Every time we grab the hammer, that's what we have to do. We have to show roar. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
So here's the other thing. We got the crew, the non-Nemesis crew, right? We have a young lady that's threatening a child.
Because Syl.
Why would you threaten a child? Like, there's nothing this kid can do to hurt your little crew.
Right.
Like, you're like
this is my family.
adults.
And I don't like when people hurt my family, Sam. So don't hurt my family. It's like, or I'll come for your mom. I'm like, y'all taking this 12-year-old kid and like, what do you expect him to do?
Exactly. What is going on here? And don't get me wrong, Sam is not the pinnacle of great kids either.
No,
he's breaking in houses, he's stealing wire.
Sam is a little asshole. Sam is 100% a little asshole. He lies, he steals, he's annoying as hell. It's like Joe, in the beginning, Joe's like, kid, you're asking too many questions, just leave me alone. Like, for real. And it's like he's spying on him. He's got binoculars. He's looking in Joe's window.
Even Tom, he's looking at people through the window. Like, that's creepy.
Joe leaves to go to work. Sam's like eyeballing him through the window. Joe looks up. He's like, I see you watching me.
Like, how are we supposed to rally behind this kid? He's out here, he's stealing things.
Straight up broke into the man's house, stole his scrapbook.
Breaking and entering. Even time, stealing wire, copper. This is the kid that we're supposed to follow. We're supposed to feel compassion for him because he's trying to help out. Well, in the beginning, he was trying to help out his mom to pay the rent. For him stealing the scrapbook, that was just all him. That was just him stealing it because he wanted to prove that the guy that he found was Samaritan. So that's why he stole it. That was selfish. That was his own selfish reason. Nothing. That has nothing. That's not how proof works.
No, all it is it just proves that somebody has been keeping newspaper clippings about Samaritan, and that's it.
And you're a thief. That's all that proves, because you stole. So that right there kind of takes you out of the. Okay, I can't root for this kid. He's a little asshole. What the hell? Because you care about your mom. We all care about our mom.
Right.
You're no different than anyone else. But I didn't like that. I didn't like that we have to keep going. Okay, I'm not Samaritan. Okay, well, clearly you're somebody because I saw you heal. Then the inconsistency with him being bulletproof and then him hiding from bullets took me off guard.
Yeah.
One frame, you can take on all these bullets, and then the next minute you have to run and hide.
Right.
Like, is there a timer on your durability? Is it like, what's going on here? I don't know.
I don't know. And just playing devil's advocate, trying to give some type of reason into the movie. The only thing I can think of is that the more that he has to regenerate, the hotter his body gets. So if he does hide from the bullets, then that's less that he has to heal himself so he won't overheat as fast, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of. But it's like Superman doesn't stand in front of bullets in 1 minute and then has to hide from bullets the next minute.
Ooh, it's getting hot in here. Let me go ahead and duck around. Ooh, glad I ducked around this column. I was about to blow up or stop my heart or something. It's like, which one is it? For real, like really. And then there's this scene outside where Joe's talking to Sam. I swear to God, it's like 2 minutes of dead silence that's in the film, and you're looking at these characters look at each other. You're aware of what I'm talking about?
I probably blocked it out. I don't remember what this.
I wish I could block this whole movie out. I'm like, God damn. So the question is, is it super?
Hell no, it's not super. You know, this movie, like you said, it could have been the plot of the movie. It could have been a whole lot better than what it was. There's a lot of good elements in the movie. Had it been written better, and because like you said, it's not a knock against Sylvester Stallone. It's not, because he plays the character of an older gentleman who just wants to be left alone, who just wants to live his life, who doesn't want to be bothered. He plays that
in
very
Creed.
well.
He nails it in Creed. Right. In Creed, he's the exact same character.
He's like, leave me alone.
He's like, an old man that
I'm a retired boxer. I have my restaurant. Just let me run my restaurant. I don't want to train you. I don't want to get back in all of that. Just leave me alone. So, and Adonis gets himself beat up, and then Rocky's like, oh shit, I guess, you know. He found out that he's Apollo's kid, and is like, all right, fine, I'll train you. And I mean, it's, yeah, like you said, it's the same way in Samaritan.
Tell me you did not get Creed vibes when he was going to train Sam to
teaching him how to punch and everything.
Creed all over him?
It's definitely not Creed. It's nowhere near close to Creed. But yeah, so
you're absolutely right about that one.
It could have been better, because even though the actions of Cyrus, the way he carried out his entire plan was absolutely like, why is it that when he put the mask on, his voice got amplified? Like there was a megaphone built inside the mask. Like he could put the mask on and automatically project his voice out to everybody in the street.
Oh, it's chaos. Like, is the mask making you angry? What is going on?
I don't know. But
you
like,
get the hammer and it's just
yeah, it's steroids inside the hammer and it's in the handle.
That's hilarious.
But like, had it been written better, like the motivation of a character saying that I identify with this quote unquote bad guy that was so prevalent 20 years ago. I want to be like him. That motivation, that's understandable. There are people like that. You know, there's serial killers in real life where people try to model themselves after that. So that's not a far-fetched thing. But the way that you go about everything that you've done, first of all, they broke into a police station. They broke into a police station to go find a hammer, right?
And murder the man.
Yeah, they murdered the dude that was running the evidence lockup. First of all, and then I'll get back to that. So they still police uniforms. They still police uniforms so they can break into the evidence lockup. The guy who's manning the evidence lockup, he sees them come in there and is like, "Hey, officer, evidence closed." You're looking at a man who has tattoos all over his face. He's got tattoos on the side of his head, shaved mohawk, beard down to here. You're telling me that you, as a police officer manning evidence lockup, you're going to look at that man and confuse him with an officer?
Hey, that's called profiling what you're doing. Don't do that.
No, there's nobody on any police force anywhere that's gonna want. No, if
he's undercover.
If he was undercover, he would not walk in there in a full police officer uniform.
In uniform? He's undercover cop.
I don't know any cop that has a tattoo on their face.
I think it's against procedure, but you know.
I know in the military it's absolutely against regulations.
In this universe, maybe in Granite City, you know, it is kind of bad. So they probably could take all the help they could get. So, plus Samaritan's dead.
So my other thing is, there was all this stuff going on in Granite City. The only time we saw police respond to anything was when Joe was walking down that alley and they tried to jump him and they started shooting in the alleyway. And then he threw a grenade. Joe jumps over the car, pulls the car up to protect himself and the little girl from the grenade. And then the police show up. But why were there no police in any other part of the movie? There was civil unrest in the streets. People running crazy in the streets, looting,
they were busy
setting fires. They never showed the police handling that, though. There were so many news reports. There were never any police anywhere to be found.
Here's the thing, too. The news reports was reporting on the civil unrest so many times.
Right.
And we watched Joe see the news so many times.
He's like,
and there was no situation where the call to action was, or let me try to save the city, or but he's not the hero. I get it. Right. He's the bad guy. But at the same time, it's just like, why is this kid so important? You don't care about nobody else. Why is Sam so important? Because he got a good mom. You got a good mom. You're lucky to have a good mom.
It all goes back to when
and then when she came, it was like, what happened when he gets caught and the gang catches him and breaks his wrist or arm? It's like some kids beat him up. It's like, you didn't do anything. Some hero you are.
He never. First of all, he wasn't even there. But the fact that he never said, "Well, I wasn't there. I just happened to find him," it's like, how are you gonna hold that man responsible? But let me ask you if you caught this. When he brought Sam to the hospital after he got his arm broken, his mom, when she came out to talk to him, she had a black eye. Like, she was all bruised around her eye right here, and they never said anything about that. And then the next time you saw her, the bruise was gone. So I don't know if there was some continuity error or if there was like,
maybe she's a Samaritan.
She's out there fighting crime instead of being at the hospital.
Her face got hot. You got to get a hot face.
Yeah,
you got to get a hot, wet face.
It's just like stuff like that. And yeah, like he never said, well, I wasn't there. I happened to find him. But the thing about it, and I'm guessing the answer as to why Sam was so important is because I guess Sam, and it's a stupid trope, Sam was the first person, and I put in quotes, first person, to see him or to treat him like a person, where everybody else, if they knew I'm Nemesis, they're going to treat me like a bad guy and all this other kind of stuff. So he sees that Sam is treating him as a person, but the only reason he's treating him so well is because he thinks that he's Samaritan. If he knew that he was Nemesis, he wouldn't want to have anything to do with him. But when Cyrus first meets Sam, he says that, because Sam's little Samaritan like sketchbook falls out of his book bag. And so Cyrus is like, oh, you're a fan of Samaritan. And Sam is like, oh, well, I guess you're a fan of Nemesis. And he was like, well, what do you know about Nemesis? And we're like, oh, well, I know he hurt people and I know he was a bad guy. And Cyrus was like, Nemesis only hurt people who deserve to be hurt. He punched up, if it was a bad guy doing bad stuff, or if it was like, crime bosses or whatever, he was fighting people. Supposedly, he was fighting people or hurting people, beating up people, killing people who deserved to be killed or who deserved it. That was Cyrus's explanation as to why he liked Nemesis. And so, because Joe, as Nemesis, didn't see Sam as someone who deserved to be hurt, then that's why I guess he really didn't have any type of
you're trying
ill will. I mean, I'm trying to give this the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to explain.
You're trying to save it.
Exactly.
You're the hero of this.
I mean,
you can save this damn movie.
Not to say that it's been executed well in any right, but at least this is my understanding as
executed wrong, all the way wrong.
On in the
horrible
movie.
CGI on Sylvester Stallone when he took his helmet off in the past.
I mean, they
It's
did the
like,
same thing in whatever Rambo movie. They try to de-age him and do the CG
but
with it.
here's the thing. I'm okay because everybody's going to have to work on their de-aging. Clearly, Disney have the de-aging thing. They're leaps and bounds of, well, I won't say that because that Luke in The Mandalorian was horrible. But the
Marvel
point is,
does it a little bit better. But I mean,
yeah,
I
the
guess that's a
Robert Downey
different.
Jr. one
That's a
was
difference.
good. When we
There's a
first saw
difference
Robert Downey
between
Jr.
the difference between the movie de-aging and the TV show de-aging, or I should say, streaming
Well,
service de-aging,
well,
because
this one was like the backyard version of de-aging. Not even. It's like a, you know how you have a big box and you cut a hole out and you put a production on with sock puppets?
right.
This was that. And don't get me wrong, everybody's got to work on it and it's going to get better in time. But at the same time, don't stay on it for like a minute and a half. We got it. It's the young Sly. He killed his brother. You instead of making it long, how about you make it short and just better quality? That would have made a difference to
Yeah.
me. Listen, this movie is trash. I'm just gonna go ahead. Is it super? Fuck no. It's nowhere near goddamn super. But if you got time to kill because you can't get that time back, we're letting you know right now. This is probably not the one that you want to see. No DR to Sly. He has made a lot of good movies over there. I'm a huge fan of the Expendables, all of the Rockies, even Creed, not Creed 2. I'm not even gonna do that. But Rambo. And then there's a lot of stuff that he's did like over the top that's good. He's did Cobra that's really, really good. But this one wasn't it. This was a miss for me. This is a merge of two things that should have been phenomenal that just wasn't. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Again, you got all the ingredients. Hey, we got a hero, we got a vulnerability that kind of plays into the storyline, kind of doesn't play into the storyline. The big twist that he's the villain at the end, that's not the villain, he's an anti-villain. This whole thing about these guys are anti-villains because Sam's, again, breaking and entering, peeking through windows to spy on people. He's stealing copper out of houses. He's affiliated with one gang, then two gangs, then another gang, and they're threatening him.
I don't think he ever went back. He went to school at one time, and he's been skipping school.
Never been back since. Never been back since, and it's crazy. I mean, what could have saved this movie? More fleshed out everything, characters, story, development of all things.
Better.
Show more of the city. Show more of. Apparently, it's getting to be like Gotham, if nothing else. Like the city is rising. Show a more call to action that we're not just saving Sam, but we're saving the city because the city is going through chaos because Nemesis is back, or who we believe is Nemesis is back. And that's what the news report says. It's Nemesis is back. Nemesis is back. Where's Samaritan?
And there's no resolution to all of that because, yeah, Cyrus dies in a fire in a power plant, but that doesn't mean that the people in the city who've been looting and trying to destroy everything, that doesn't mean that they're going to stop.
If we've seen anything in these genre movies, they keep going. In the name of the Joker, in the name of Nemesis. It's like, we got to burn the city down now because he's now a martyr.
Martyr.
That's what I wanted to say. Not a bomb. Okay. I'm thinking next year I'm going to get a new jaw. I'll be able to say words.
Okay.
That's gonna be the name. Remember, James Bond had the villain with the steel jaw. I think his name was Jaws.
Trap Jaw. Oh, it wasn't Jaws. Oh, was it Jaws?
Either way, he had like a steel jaw. That's one thing that they don't have really more in James Bond's movies. I think the last one was the guy that had the diamonds in his face. Like, when they don't have those iconic villains, right? Yeah. James Bond used to be crazy like that. They used to have the guy with the hat. You could throw the hat like whatchamacallit from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. what was his name?
Little Asian
Odd Job.
take oh, throw that hat. Apparently, I got hit in the head with a hat. A hand. Samaritan,
Yeah.
Spider. You gonna watch it again or what?
Hell no. Why? Why would I waste my time? Why? There's no reason for me to watch this movie
Thought
ever
you
again.
wanted some 90s puns and
no, I don't. I don't need anything else from that movie. The thing that I'm surprised of, and the things that because I was looking at the cast listing of the Samaritan, Shamik Moore. If you don't know who Shamik Moore is, he starred in Dope. He starred in The Get Down. He voiced Miles Morales in Into the Spider-Verse. A talented guy. He's listed as one of the top billed actors in this movie. He's in the movie for all about 7 seconds, 8 seconds, maybe, because he's one of the police officers. He was one of the police officers in the flashback when Samaritan and Nemesis were fighting. That was it. That's the only time you see him. And you see him arrive. You see him arrive on a scene, and then he's on the screen for like maybe 3 seconds, and then on another like flashback, you see him there because I think Samaritan like flipped a cop car or hit a cop car or something, and he's there. But like that's the only time that you see him. But he's listed. He's listed as one of the top billed actors in the movie, which just kind of goes to show you that these like. Sylvester Stallone, what was the mom's name? The actress that plays the mom. I forget her name.
Yeah, isn't she in Orange Is the New Black?
Yeah, Dasha Polenko. It's Sylvester Stallone, Dasha Polenko, Shamik Moore, and Martin Starr. Those are like your biggest names inside this entire movie. And between all of them that's not Sylvester Stallone, they're all on screen for like maybe minutes.
A Thanos snap.
Yeah. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's just
it is a movie that has Sylvester Stallone in it. Is it a movie worth watching?
No. Save your time. I would say save your money, but you know, if you have a Prime subscription and you've got Prime Video, you know, just save your time. It's not worth it.
Order an audio book.
Yeah,
Samaritan on audio.
No, I mean they adapted it because they wrote the script for this long time ago, and so from the script they adapted it into a graphic novel. So maybe read that. That might be a little bit better for you. And then they took the graphic novel and then interpreted it into a movie. But yeah, read the Samaritan graphic novel. Go find that. See if that's a little bit better.
Take your character. He doesn't want to do the call to action. That's great. Give us reason to make him want to or have to do something to a point that it's just, you cannot deny this. He's a bad guy. Understood. His motivations will not be the same. You're upset that your brother died. Clearly, you have a lot of regret and remorse. You're not being a villain anymore. Okay, so you're not a hero either. You want to live in isolation. You work at a trash company. You dumpster dive in to fix things, to sell.
Soothe your mind.
Right, that's understandable. But then here's another thing in this thing. There was a lot of after effects adding on, if you call it that. You could tell by the audio that they use when you're not seeing a person actually say the dialogue and just hear the audio. Those are put in after to try to give the movie context and make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just it's something that if you're into movies like we are, we notice. If you haven't really watched a lot of movies, it may catch you as organic. Sorry, I need a new mouth. But it's very disjarring for somebody like myself to watch it, and it's like that doesn't fit or this doesn't fit. Because here's an example: when Sam went into Joe's place, he started ransacking through Joe's stuff.
Yep.
And we're watching and we're like, why are you in Joe's place going through his shit and fucking shit up? But then you hear the audio, it's like, where's the watch? Where's the watch? We forgot all about the watch, honestly. At least I did. Till he mentioned it. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. But then there's this emphasis on a watch. Without a strong explanation about the background on the watch. Is it his father's watch? Did he say that? Because he said, why do you
wear a broken watch?
And then he said, why do you wear a broken watch? Yes. And he takes a watch. He says, I can't make any promises, but I'll see if I can fix it.
Right.
But again,
and the only reason that Joe goes back to Sam is because he fixed the watch. He still has the watch on him when he's getting ready to leave. And then he
sees the watch.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, the alarm goes off." He's like, "Oh, I need to go get this back to Sam." He goes into Sam's apartment, finds his mom on the floor in the kitchen, and that's when she tells him that Cyrus kidnapped Sam.
This is the thing too. I understand she's distraught and she's hurt, but she's like, "Sam, it's Sam." No mama doing that. She's up. Where's my kid? Yo, I ain't got time for you right now, dude. My son is missing. And if you're a hero or not a hero, because clearly Sam talked to his mom about it. Otherwise, why would she say, what type of hero are you? The comment that she made.
Yeah.
But it was just like, matter. If your kid is gone, are you going to
just sit in the kitchen and be delirious about it?
Cookies, milk. I need cookies and milk for my snack. Like, girl, like the situation is, if you're going to do that, show us, the audience, that she's drugged, that she's paralyzed, that she can't move.
She got beat up or something.
Did she?
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Show us something that happened.
If it happened off screen, we didn't see it, and it's hard for it to have an impact on your audience because we didn't see it. We need to know what's going on. This is a story that you want to tell. Okay, so they got. Okay, I don't know why. Because I know if my kid's missing, I'm up. Look, I might have was knocked out. Okay, you got me. I'm knocked out. I'm up. I don't see my kid. I'm up. I'm on the phone with 911 or something, and then here comes this guy. Dude, I don't even have time for what you're going through. I'm trying to find my son. That's not what we get. We get it's ice cream, hot, keep your body cool, Jergens, lotion, bars, ice cream bars. You're right. I don't make sense because it didn't make sense. I'm giving you exactly what I felt. Felt like none of it made sense. God damn. Fuck you, movie. You know what? Fuck you, movie. That's how I feel about it. Prime Video, Samaritan.
No, just no.
Fuck no, it's super.
Well, let us know in the comments below if you took the time to watch Samaritan. What do you think about the movie? What do you think about the writing, the acting, the character choices, the character motivations?
Why?
If you can answer the question why, let us know in the comments below. But if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you can be notified when we have a new video go up. And remember, if you want the audio podcast, you can find us on your podcast streaming services. Just search for All Things Super. And if you want to join in on the conversation, you can tweet at us at ATSuperPod. But yeah, there's nope. No, just there's nothing else to say about it. It's just they could have done better. They could have done better.
Fight scenes are bad. I'm bulletproof, but I don't want to get too hot.
Right.
Thanks. Thank you for this.
Yeah, it's just let us know. But until next time, we'll see you all in the next episode.